Hello everyone, my name is Mirja Michalscheck. I'm working for IUMI, International Water Management Institute. I'm based in Accra in Ghana, and I'm presenting on innovation scaling for equitable food systems transformation. We're introducing an innovation bundle profiling tool to enhance scalability, and we would like to share that with you. This is the overview of our presentation. We're going to talk about the scaling approach that we use, which is an adaptive scaling for systems transformation approach. We're going to talk about the case or the context, which is the CGIAR, Rethinking Food Markets Initiative. We're going to talk about innovation bundling, so we all know what is meant by that, and then introduce the innovation bundle profiling tool, how we've used it, user experience, the transferability of the tool maybe to your project, but then also the link to the overall session presentations and the discussion. Our scaling approach is an adaptive scaling for systems transformation approach. With scaling, we refer to taking something, like an innovation, from an exemplary context where it worked to reach different scales or to benefit more people, for example. So innovations could be new technologies, new practices, techniques, services, processes, and so on. When we talk about scaling for systems transformation specifically, we are not just referring to innovations that change the lives of individuals, but we're looking at innovation scaling that changes the functions of a system or relations of systems components. For example, the way that markets function or the way that resources flow. So let's have a look at this conceptual framework developed by Min and Schmitter. They describe 4 functions of adaptive scaling for systems transformation. The first one is niche, second one is transform, the third one is reach, and the fourth one is accelerate. So niche refers to a function where it's about co-designing an innovation and making adaptive innovation bundles available. The second is transform, triggering new scaling processes and systemic change. 3 is reach, ensuring that the scaling process reaches really multiple dimensions. And number 4 is accelerating these 3 functions, so envisioning and enabling investment in the niche, reach, and transform related activities. And you will notice the little yellow arrows. These are the 4 principles of adaptive scaling that connect these different functions. The first function is inclusive, and it refers to steering the scaling processes to be inclusive in scope, process, and effort, and in terms of who benefits from harmonizing and compromising between different socioeconomic and environmental impacts. The second one is responsive. This refers to scaling processes responding to systemic barriers, enabling factors, societal needs, and concerns, while anticipating what if the scaling bundles, they actually reach scale. The third principle is reflective, which directs the scaling ecosystem's actions, goals, commitments, assumptions, and anticipations along the scaling processes to reflect, manage, and respond to dynamic and changing circumstances. And the fourth principle is flexible, which spurs the scaling ecosystem's ability to adapt to new systems, properties, demands, and values that are emerging. So you can see it's a very flexible process, an adaptive process, and we are going to use this as a basis to develop our bundling tool. So our innovation bundle profiling tool is developed in the context of the CGIAR Rethinking Food Markets Initiative. CGIAR stands for Consultative Group for International Agricultural Research, and IUMI is one of the CGIAR research centers. And this initiative is present in 7 countries, and it revolves around innovations that make domestic and international value chains more sustainable and more inclusive. So you can see innovations and systems change, and this is why we're adopting an adaptive scaling approach where we co-identify, co-develop, test, and scale innovations, or rather innovation bundles, with approaches such as stakeholder engagement, cross-learning, innovation bundling, and then, of course, we generate and communicate evidence through impact studies and profiling. So we can see that the innovation bundle profiling tool fits into this profiling category under generation and communication of evidence. What we've done so far in the different countries, there were scoping studies to identify innovations, and we have co-identified innovation bundles. And at the moment, in all the countries, there are RCTs, so randomized control trials being developed. We've profiled 21 innovations and looked at our portfolio, and these profiles are rather short profiles for the CGIAR dashboard. This is an overview of innovations that the CGIAR is related to, has developed. What we were missing as initiative was a comprehensive innovation bundle profiling tool. So a brief explanation of what am I referring to when talking about innovation bundling. Innovation can be a single innovative element, right? But at the same time, it could also be a bundle. So there might be a core innovation, let's say something technical, like a new seed or seeder in terms of a mechanization device, but there might also be additional elements that are important for adopters, for consumers, beneficiaries, and users, such as maybe they need training to adopt that core innovation, or financial services like loans, an app to run it, market linkages, or specific contractual arrangements. So bundling innovations really shows that the core innovation is adaptive to different users and contexts, and it could be responsive and more inclusive, for example, making a technical innovation more affordable. So we wanted to describe these innovation bundles that we developed in terms of the components and characteristics of the bundle, the bundling process that led to this current bundle composition, the theory of change, scaling, as well as impacts. So let's unpack these different headers, like components and characteristics. There would be a bundle description, an explanation of context and demand for the bundle, affordability of the bundle, seasonality in demand. Value chain functions, I've highlighted that in lighter blue because that's very specific for our initiative. Maybe your questions here would look a bit different. Type of innovations, as well as pilot stages and scaling readiness. And then the bundling process, we would reflect on resources for bundling and the role of the initiative. And the theory of change, we would describe it, talk about risks, and then really look also at CGIAR impact areas and tags. So under scaling, we would reflect on the current use of the innovation bundle, the bundle adaptability, and scaling strategies. And under impacts, we would reflect on the results of evaluation assessments, social distribution of benefits, and we finally would also reflect on main lessons learned and adaptive planning in the whole process of this innovation scaling. And here is a link and a QR code to the tool, so you could have a look at it. So this is an impression of how the online tool looks like. You scan that QR code or follow that link, you end up on Kobotoolbox, and here you see the profiling template component 1, bundle components and characteristics, with these different sections that I just listed there as well. And if we would click on this little orange arrow and bundle description, this would open and there are more detailed questions like to describe the bundle in short and a bit longer, mentioning the bundle elements and so on. So really this tool takes you through the different sections. You can also really open up those that are currently relevant to you that you would like to explore that with your team, save it, and also trace the process over time of how the bundles and your reflection developed. So that makes it a very interesting tool for monitoring and evaluation of your project. So concerning user experience and transferability, the first point is modularity was very important to have these larger headings or components with drop-down options so users could really go into what interested them most. And the detailed scan was very useful for reflection and planning for enhanced scalability. It was a very good basis for conversation within the initiative, and it helped with tracing the process of how these bundles developed. It's actually also in the context of scaling preparedness. And you can have this link to the seminar here. Concerning transferability, we learned from solar-based irrigation bundle in Ghana to develop this tool, but also to apply this tool. So there's a link to have a look at that. We think that similar questions are useful, certainly for other initiatives and projects. This is an openly available tool. Kobotoolbox is for free. You can just hit me up, and we're happy to share that with you. We also think it's nicely complementary to other wonderful tools like the scaling scan that analyzes or helps you to analyze strengths and weaknesses of your scaling ambition. And the scientific value basically is that it allows a systematic case assessment. So it accompanies innovation bundle and intervention design, like your RCTs, helps with stakeholder mapping and engagement, and the data collection is rather qualitative, displays the evolution over time, and displays the learning process. What are the links to the other presentations in this session, and what may be good questions for discussion? So we heard a presentation on Botswana agroecological practices. So I guess these are innovation bundles, and there are questions around scaling too. Vietnam, upscaling safe and sustainable solutions, vegetables and pork. Very relevant. It's also a scaling topic. Zambia, farmer versus trader entrepreneurial orientation. There's also some component of adoption behavior, right? And for Colombia, specialty cocoa, good agricultural practices, traceability, new varieties. This also sounds like innovation bundles and scaling. So I would like to ask you, what are your strategies for equitable food systems transformation? How or do you approach scaling? Is it in an adaptive way as well? Do you profile innovations? If yes, how do you do that? Is it at bundle level? And about this innovation bundle profiling tool, would you be interested to use it? So thank you very much for your attention. I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to your questions.